Gransberry. The four of us will be here, and I'd like to encourage any questions as we go on the slides, or if you have a question, while we're talking, just interrupt us. Also, if at the end of the presentation we haven't covered something, or if you have specific questions, we definitely would like to answer those questions, and we will be here as long as needed to make sure that you guys have your answers. Having said that, let me turn the table over to Kelly Graman.
Thank you. Good morning. So we're starting on the second slide, and this is just the No, we're fine. General instructions. Please send 2 single-sided copies of the tentative and final budgets to the Department of Taxation, and also send us a PDF file of your budgets in our email. We'd appreciate that. And know that there's 2 types of funds. We have our governmental funds and we have the proprietary funds. The governmental funds is usually your general, special revenue, capital projects, and debt service. Proprietary funds are their enterprise internal service funds. This is the index, and each budget should have followed this, the index. And please don't summarize, like say this is all of our special. We need to have them each broken out and a page number, because a lot of times we need to find a specific fund, and it's easier if the index is up to date and correct page numbers. And note that Schedule 30, which is our lobbying schedule, is not required for FY26. So it's not in your budget forms. If you're looking for it, you don't need it. This is what we call the transmittal page. Insert your letterhead at the top here, and put the name of the entity in the first paragraph. The second paragraph is concerning the revenues, and this revenues are the state education revenues and the debt service only. And this must agree with your resources in column 4 and 5 of the Schedule AA or the Schedule AA modified. The fourth paragraph, this is concerning your expenditures, and all funds except proprietary funds go the first sentence, and the expenditures should agree with columns 2, 3, and 4 on Schedule AA1 and modified AA1. And this excludes operating transfers, contingencies, and ending fund balance, and minus the proprietary funds. Not all schools have a proprietary fund, and this is usually if the school has using their food service as a proprietary fund, it goes here, and then how much expenses. This one is the second half to Schedule 1. When you're okay, oh, that's a different one. Sorry. So if you're doing the tentative budget, just know that just the person who's in charge of the tentative budget needs to sign the tentative budget. The final budget needs to be signed by the majority of all members of the governing body, and that is 50% plus 1. And the bottom half is real important to us, so please make sure that you fill this out. The date and time of your taking it to the board must be from May 19th to May 31st. Not sooner than the 3rd Monday in May, and not later than the last day in May. And then the publication date is important. You have to have it in a newspaper not more than 14 days or less than 7 days before the set date of the public meeting. And this is really important to us to get these dates, because we do them in order of your meeting. We need to get these back to you 3 days prior to your budget hearing. So this is important for us to know when your budget is.
If for any reason the budget analysts, when they receive your budget, this date is outside the window of the third Monday in May through the end of May, which I believe begins May 19th this year. If it says May 12th or anything else, they're going to be notifying you immediately because it will impact the time at which you do the publication, since that publication has to be again between 7 and 14 days. So again, as Kelly emphasized, this is the first thing they look at. Even if they aren't going to be reviewing the budget for a week, they're going to look at that. And if there's a problem with it, they're going to be notifying you immediately.
Exactly. This is the schedule B1, and this is sorry, turn the right page. So this is where you put your section A, B, and C is for the revenue projection. You can get the assessed value from the revenue projection publication, page A1, column 2. And the net proceeds is same revenue projection publication, column 3. And then you add those two to get your total assessed value. And then make sure that the total employee information, this is for statistics. How many full-time equivalent employees do you have? And then how many full-time equivalent classroom teachers? And then the total enrollment. And then part E is the enrollment and the basic support guarantee information. This is whether you have out-of-state students or transported from this is where this goes. And the total for that is the total weighted enrollment. And this is the second half of the Schedule B1. And this is the most important part of this. So in the blue areas is where you put your information that you get from the pupil center funding plan. And so just fill those numbers in. And then the total at the bottom, the total funding from the state education. This should match the numbers in the AA and the AA modified schedules in column 4, and it should match the BB schedules. I will look at this number and if it doesn't match the schedule AA, expect a phone call. And then also, if you do not use the pupil center funding plan numbers, then just please note somewhere on the budget why. Tell us why you're not using their numbers.
In the budget message.
Yeah, in the
is
budget,
usually the
yeah.
appropriate place.
Yes. So yeah, just let us know. You know stuff that we don't know. And here is the schedule AA. And like I said, the net all funds from the state education should match schedule B1. And if you have your totals from the state funding for, like, say, for instance, for special ed, that if you have monies for special ed that's not coming from the state education funding, put it in the non-property tax resources. Because we track the state education funding, so I don't want to have to subtract out numbers that shouldn't be there. So when you do the funds, the first part, the general and the debt service are at the top. Other funds are at the bottom, and make sure that you list every single fund that you have. And make sure that if you have a fund in the audit, the fund should be also here. And hopefully they have the same name.
Same name, and they should mirror the.
Yeah, exactly.
order.
Yeah, because a lot of times you'll have a different name in than the audit, and it's a different name on your budget. Please try to make those the same. And it's really helpful to me to know that. So the total fund resources is the sum of columns 2, 3, 4, and 5, and must balance to all total resources for each fund. The entire schedule should, must foot and cross foot. And here I bought, so this is what I'm saying, schedule B1 total should match column 4 total. And if it doesn't, expect a phone call. Because I will be calling. So, any questions so far?
Hearing none.
Hearing none. Okay, schedule AA modified. And this is my preferred schedule, but you are still able to use just the regular schedule AA. It's up to you. We have our opening fund balance from 7/1/2025. The funds, they must match, should match what is in column 1. This would match schedule A1, it modified also. So put them in this exact same order. Thank you, Andy. The exact same order. I know some words just escape me. And this one is different because it has a column for the transfers. So you don't have to put it at the bottom, and it's just much easier and neater, but still you have that choice.
Any questions on schedule AA modified?
Okay. The schedule AA1 is the expenditure side. And this will show the salaries, employee benefits, and the services, supplies, and other, and the ending fund balance. And this schedule on here on column 6 should match the total column on the schedules AA.
Your total fund requirements must add, on your expenditure side, have to equal the total expenditures or the total requirements on your revenue side.
Yes, exactly. And this also, this schedule must put in cross foot. And this is schedule AA1 modified. This has we've added the 2 columns, the transfers out and the contingency. So we've added these 2, and and this is just easier, but there again, you're able to choose between the modified or the regular AA1. Next. Oh, it took a minute. Okay, sorry. So here, the schedule B's, B5, the first column, which is the actual prior year ending, must agree with the audit numbers. And then what does it say? And then the blue is where we put in for the state education funding, should match schedule A column 4 total on this one. And this one has this is the revenue side of the budget, has the local sources, it has revenue from state sources, and it has federal resources. And the schedule BB6 is the end of the revenue side. It has other financing resources. And there again, the actual prior year must agree with the audit. The opening fund balance must agree from the audit. And the beginning fund balance on FY24 is the audit ending fund balance from the audit. And if you notice that green part, much total all resources, that must match total applications, and that's going to come from schedules BB 14A. So, and that has to match all the way across. Um, Schedule BB7, this starts the expenditure side of the budget. And there again, actual year ending must agree with the audit. And I don't mean to be repetitious, but this is one of the problems that we have. This has to agree with your audit.
These are the easiest numbers to get once that audit's been completed, because you just have to copy and put them in here.
Yeah. So, and the BB7 had the regular programs and the special programs, and this should go really quick. The BB8 schedule is the gifted and talented and the vocational and technical. BB9 is the other instructional programs and summer school. BB10 is adult education and community service programs. BB11 is co-curricular activities and athletics. And schedule BB12 is your undistributed expenditures. BB13 is your operating maintenance, plant service, student transportation, and food services. So on here, it's for those school districts who account for food services operations in an enterprise fund, should be done on a Schedule J1, but the ones that do it as a special revenue, this is where it goes. And so so some schools do it that way, some schools do it different. Schedule BB4 is your land and
Team.
excuse me, sorry, 14, sorry, I can't read. Land improvement, your architecture, engineering, any new building acquisition, building improvements, this is where that goes. And then BB 14A, this is the end. And like I said before, the total applications must match all the resources. Those numbers need to match straight across. That's important. And then, so when you're completing the Schedule Bs, if you don't have every single one of those different columns, if there's any blank pages, don't include them in the budget. It's just waste. So, so if possible, please design the print programs to eliminate lines that are not used. So we're trying to reduce the size of the, of the budget, so. Any questions on any of the BB schedules?
Let's go back one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, no questions. So we're moving along quite fastly. Schedule CC, this is, should accommodate all current debt service activity as enumerated in Schedule C1. Principal and interest amounts for FY26 should agree with the appropriate totals on Schedule C1, and I will make sure that they match. The reserve amount may equal up to a total of 6 months principal and interest without explanation. In the Schedule C1, if you notice up at the top, we list all the different types of loans and bonds. And so on column 2, if you could please put the number down there as to what type of obligation this is. And in column 1, please list in a subtotal by fund. Please put the fund, because I'm going to be looking for each one. I will look in the budget to see if I can find it and make sure that the interest and the principal payables are the exact here as they are elsewhere in the budget. And please, subtotal them all at the bottom, total all of each row. I think it's columns 4, let me see, 4, 6, 7, 9, and 10, and 11. Yeah, 4, 8, 9, 10, and 11. If you could total those all at the bottom, I appreciate it. Any questions on the C schedules? Okay. Schedule J1, you will use this for your proprietary funds, and mostly this is for the school food program. And these are done by, we have operating revenues, we have operating expenses, we have non-operating revenues and non-operating expenses. And if you have a Schedule J1, you will also have a Schedule J2. The J2 is the cash flow part of this, and it is show the cash flows from the operating activities, cash flow from non-capital financing activities, cash flow from capital and relating finance activities, and the cash flow from any investing activities would go on this. So, and none of the amounts shown on this Schedule J2 will be transferred over to Schedule AA or AA1. This is the Schedule I, and this is for payments to or from school districts in Nevada. And this is like if you have any transfers for tuition or transfers from other school districts or from outside of Nevada. And this above information is and other budgeted data is used by the Department of Education for various statistical reports. And Schedule T. This transfer schedule summarizes all operating and residual equity transfers planned for FY26. Total transfers in must equal total transfers out. And when you're putting these in, please put the page number, because I am going to find every transfer in and out and make sure that they all match. So, and make sure that your page numbers are updated. And so transfers in on the Schedule AA modified should match the transfers out on Schedule AA1. So they should match.
And Kelly brings up a good point, because if you're using an old form, sometimes it's like, okay, well, the page numbers don't change. We're talking about the same transfers. Realize that because Department of Transportation is undergoing a new system,
Taxation.
or yes, thank you.
We are
taxation.
We have a new system going in, so all of our schedules have been changed. Now they're in the Mint system. So anyway, the numbers have changed, but they look and feel the same. But they are different form numbers. Those forms are also going to be located, the ones that we're talking about today, let you know that they're all located on our website.
Mhm.
Under local government finance, and then you'll see the budget for schools and for non-schools tab. And when you click on those drop down links, it opens it up, and this budget training will also be available for you if you need to walk through or want to look at one of the items. And the one item that we didn't send out in the budget package that went out in an email was the check sheet, the checklist.
Checklist.
And so we'll make that available on the website as well. Thank you.
Exactly.
Can you say again where on your website that will be available?
Yes, it's on Department of Taxation website. And then when you open that up, you can go to local government finance. Just make sure you don't go to local government services, local government finance forms. And then there's like 4 items, 2 of which are the budgets. So we have the non-school budgets and the school budgets. And when you click on that, it shows you 4 or 5 different documents. You'll have the forms package, the instructions, the calendar, the checklist, as well as the video of the budget training.
Yeah.
Specific to schools when you're looking at the school ones. All that information will be there. And if you have any problems downloading it, please let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Schedule 31 or Form 31 is the schedule of existing contracts. This summarizes your existing contracts from persons or temporary employment services, along with proposed expenditures for contracts for the next 2 fiscal years, and the reasons for your need for this person or service we have for FY 26 and for 27. And the one thing I will be looking on this page specifically is your auditor. So please put your auditor on there. Schedule 32, this is a schedule of privatization contracts in which a private entity provides services substantially similar to the services provided by the public employees and are in lieu of services otherwise required to be provided by the local government. And this one also is for FY 26 and FY 27. Say something about the FTE.
Early in the budget forms where you have to list kind of your FTEs for the past as well as for the current year that you're budgeting for. If we see a reduction in those FTEs, sometimes it's because maybe you've done some outsourcing or there's some service that used to be done by the school that is no longer being done by the school. I would expect to see that privatization here. If it's, did this contract basically replace 25 employees, FTEs? So that's really what this form is for. And if you have any other questions on it, don't hesitate to ask. Are there any questions on the budget forms that we provided you today? I expected this group would give us some tough questions.
You mentioned that this is going to be posted, this video will be posted, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it will be.
Yes.
Okay, how soon will we expect that?
We should be able to have it posted later today. As soon as they get it, we thought it was being posted because you can basically get it off Teams, but realized in doing the trainings this week that the Teams, because we use Excel spreadsheets, it won't show you some of the spreadsheets. And so we have to have it recorded. Then I thought I could try and just email the training. And because it's larger than 25 megs, I couldn't do that either. So we basically downloaded it. There's a YouTube link, and that link will be provided on the Department Taxation website along with the forms. So at least once you find the location, everything should be there. Next question.
Yes, this is Rhonda over here in Eureka. I was just wondering if I could get a copy of this presentation that you're showing with the red annotations, just to keep in the file in case I'm not always the one doing this.
What you'll be able to do is you'll see that on our website, so you can download it and save it.
All right, wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because it will have all the notes that Kelly has been kind enough to kind of go through this form and say what column should equal different page numbers and other columns, so that to keep you knowing that everything's footing and tracking across the forms.
Yeah. And if you have any questions after today, don't hesitate to call.
I appreciate everyone's time on a Friday. Thank you very much. If there are no other, if you have other questions, hang tight. If you don't, please feel free to leave the call. We have one question, Rhonda.
Oh,
Get
I
another-
just asked it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I see your hand up and it flashes on me and it's like, maybe she still has another question.
No.
Have a great 3-day weekend, you guys.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
do have one more question.
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
Let me go get to the form that. So it's the Schedule B1.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll go back to it here.
Of course, my document's now spinning. So it's where we need to, let's, the summary of property tax base.
It's fine.
It's at the top. Okay.
I think it's going crazy. I'm not touching it, but it's going
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that is the assessed valuation
Mhm.
and the net proceeds, that part.
Yes, so, and when did those come out?
The final comes out on March 15th.
March 15th. So.
I'll
like,
let you know, the preliminary is going to be out February 15th is the deliverable date. But because that is going to be a 3-day weekend as well, we're hoping to get it out on February 14th if all goes well. And then the final numbers, as Kelly said, is March 15th.
Okay,
And
so
those
the
are the numbers that
preliminary is
we
coming
use.
out February, so we'll be able to use that preliminary for our tentative budget, but we should have the final for final budget.
Well, your tentative budget, by the time you turn it in, you'll have your final numbers as well.
So please use the final revenue projections that come out on March 15th.
Yeah.
And when did they,
Okay,
where did they say the notes version is, the red?
it'll be on the website. Okay, and so that preliminary property tax, those get emailed to the districts.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. All righty, I think that was my only other question.
Okay.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone. Are there any other questions? Yes. No. Okay. Have a great weekend, you guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Bye-bye.